This is Adam King from Aliens Don't Ring Doorbells, and you're listening to Madness to Creation.
Go ahead, say it.
There's a shadow hiding in the night.
Welcome to the Madness to Creation podcast, where self-care and music merge. This is Maddie. How are you? On the 33rd episode of the Madness to Creation podcast, we have Alexandra, Blair, and James Mullen of up-and-coming indie rock band The Silk War. The Silk War is one of the most mysterious bands I've ever heard. It's really hard to describe their sound and pinpoint their sound. You're just going to have to check it out. And we talk about their lead single, Blue Hour, along with some nuances and what is coming up for their upcoming record entitled Come Evening, which they're releasing independently on May 14th. And I really want to encourage you guys to really invest and really look into indie artists. Invest your time and check it out, indie artists, and support local unsigned music. And just remember that some of your favorite bands at one point started out in the local scene. So keep in mind, you never know who the next big band is going to be. And this was an absolutely riot of an interview. Alexandra and James are both peas in a pod in terms of their music. And Alexandra talks about her mentorship with James, who helps produce the record and helps obviously write the record and stuff like that. And they really get into mental health awareness and all that. And Alexandra also talks about her stuttering problem that she has and how she's worked through that, like whether it's through school, whether it's through the public eye or anything like that. And yet she absolutely rips it as a vocalist. And I cannot wait for more and more people to check out the Silk War. And you'll be glad that I mentioned that to you. And I want you to check out Silk War on all their social medias. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and their official website. And keep in mind, May 14th, please pick up Come Evening via Spotify or your favorite digital streaming platform. And follow the Madness to Creation podcast on Spotify, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Geo7, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, and Podcast Addict. And also remember to please be mindful of others. This country is just, pardon my French, is a shitstorm lately. And basically, I'm not going to get into the politics behind it, but through the pandemic and through the civil unrest, it is more important than ever that we are listening here and that we show compassion for, we might be angry because of a job loss. We might be angry because of all this civil unrest going on in this country. We might be angry because of the injustice and the racism that they might feel. It is so important for each and every one of us to be a listening ear so we can make our society and the world a better place. And also, I expect the next episode to feature one incredible hardcore band called The Drowned God. And on that note, here's our conversation with Alexandra and James of the Silk War. Take it away, Alexandra and James. All right, welcome to the Madness to Creation podcast, where self-care and music merge. This is Maddie. How are you? And here I have Alexandra and Jimmy from the Silk War. And how are you both doing?
Great.
Awesome.
How are you?
Awesome.
Terrible.
What was that?
Terrible. No, I'm just kidding. I'm fine.
Okay, you're doing terrible. Well, hopefully we can make things a little bit better. So, why are you doing terrible today?
No, I mean, I was just kind of making a joke. I think people just assume, because of the music that we make and the, like us always wearing black, that we're always pissed, we're always upset, we're always crying, and I mean, it's like the majority of the time, but it's not all the time, Maddie. Don't worry.
All right. Yeah. So, let's say when you all get down, what do you do to kind of pick yourself up, so to speak? What kind of started off that way?
Music is a big one, always has been for me. Is there's just two ways to deal with it musically. You either go with it and go, sometimes Morrissey is the way to go, to go deeper into it, and sometimes you want to go with like Michael Jackson or something to go the opposite to cheer yourself up. And that's the power of music. I mean, what's so amazing about music, mood wise. That's what I love about the type of music we do, is the ability to change moods.
No, it's so true. I mean, that key change and Man in the Mirror. I mean, that does something to me.
Oh, definitely. So what does that do to you, Alexandra, with the key change of Man in the Mirror?
I mean, I was just kind of kidding. I honestly hate key changes, but
do you really?
Yeah, but no.
Modulations. Key changes are okay. Modulations are
right. Exactly. No, I mean, Michael's awesome. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, truly, how do I cope with it? For sure, music, playing music, listening to music. I like to spend a lot of time alone, to be honest. I write a lot. I write lyrics, obviously for us, and just kind of free write by myself. Both Jimmy and I do a lot of reading, a lot of like classic lit, a lot of philosophy, but mostly like when I really am struggling, it's so weird, but I don't like to listen to music with lyrics at all, because I really need my head to be completely cleared so that I can just write freely. So it mostly ends up being classical music.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of kind of classical music, have you ever heard of the band Scale the Summit?
No.
They're an instrumental rock group, and I first heard them. I took a buddy of mine from college to see Dream Theater in concert, because he's a huge Dream Theater fan. He has physical disabilities and stuff like that, so he doesn't get around much. So they came to Minneapolis, which is 2 hours from where I live, and I surprised him with tickets to the show. And I didn't tell him what we were going to do or anything like that, and he about crapped himself literally when he found out it was Dream Theater. So Scale the Summit is just this incredible instrumental rock band. So what kind of music, like a book I'm working on to kind of tie into this question, it's called Lighthouses in the Darkest Distance. I'm hoping to release it 2023. Because naturally it takes time to write a book, and,
I know, dude. I'm writing one too.
And just kind of a question I have for both of you. What is the soundtrack to your life? Whether it's a band, artist, a genre, or an album that you turn to when times get difficult?
For me, it's been phases of my life. I mean, there was a point like where the Bends and OK Computer were the soundtrack of my life.
Of course. Still,
10 years straight, like, really affected me and affected the way I write, affected a lot of me. That's the most profound impacts of music on me. And she agrees. Was probably that those couple of Radiohead records were, there was a point in my life too, and even before that, like at Morrissey again, like the Viva Hate thing. I mean, it was before my time necessarily as far as where it was mentally at that point, but that soundtracked me for a while. And you go through different phases. I don't.
Of course.
Now I'm in less of a dark phase where I'm try not to go with it as much now.
Is there a couple Morrissey songs that you go to like right away?
Yeah, definitely everything off of Viva Hate. There's some really specific things. I forgot the song. Like I want to see all my friends tonight. There's okay. Song? And that always grabbed me so much when I was feeling really like depressed, and like that. I could look up the name of the song, Mullen Street or something like that maybe. That album, more than anyone, like when I'm really depressed, like speaks to me more than any album I've ever heard in my life, by far, even more than the Radiohead records, that album specifically.
Yeah. And how does that moods and stuff like that affect your standpoint, Jimmy, from songwriting?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because musically, and even the way he approaches things musically and melodically is so distant from us and from most people.
I don't know. I kind of disagree, because I feel like the way that Morrissey wrote with Johnny Marr, I mean, like it's kind of really similar to like how we write. I mean, and I know probably Morrissey like doesn't admit to it, but I think that like a lot of it was Johnny Marr writing first, and then Morrissey came in, and I think that and I'm sure that he had a lot of the lyrics written already, but that's why you kind of have this like crazy original melody that he had over so many of the songs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Aesthetically,
for the Smiths, obviously.
But but he would also just take these. He would do things melodically and that no one else would try to do, and it would make no sense if someone else did it.
Yeah, for sure. But
he's
I mean,
a unicorn in that way.
Yeah, and also he would say things that, like, literally, if they came out of my mouth, it would be like fucking ridiculous. It would be laughable. Just for some reason, like if I would said it was a good lay, I feel like like everyone would completely be like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Exactly. so yeah, I think it doesn't really. I mean, I'm more affected by the Smiths musically than Morrissey's solo stuff.
Oh, okay.
But Johnny Moore is a huge hero of mine.
Oh my God, he's such a
definitely
genius.
An influence from chord structures and guitar styles and things like that. Where the music to Morrissey, but Morrissey, my love for Viva Hate is more about the lyrics and the emotion and what he's saying about it more than the music of it as a whole. Like from that standpoint, Radiohead is much more influential.
Oh my God, no, you're right. I mean, we're huge Radiohead fans. We're also huge PJ Harvey fans, huge Patti Smith fans. The Cure, obviously. I mean, Susie and the Banshees, of course. A huge Elliott Smith fans as well.
Yeah. I noticed when I listened to the Silk War, for some reason, PJ Harvey and Susie and the Banshees came to mind. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you like a certain part of the song I heard, Blue Hour, but there's something about like it just kind of spoke PJ Harvey and Susie and the Banshees. Would you all agree with that?
Oh man, that is the biggest fucking compliment. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. So how about for you? Like, what is the soundtrack to your life, Alexandra?
I mean, I kind of agree with Jimmy. It really depends on, what I need at that moment. But the things that I always go back to XO and Either Or by Elliott Smith. I always go back to basically every Radiohead record. I mean, like as of right now, I'm just like listening to Amnesiac over and over. And there's a period of time where I didn't even want to fucking listen to that record at all, that I really only liked OK Computer and I really only liked the Bends. But now, I mean, the whole catalog is insane. And Tom York solo also is insane. The first time I heard Patti Smith's Horses, I mean, it completely changed my life. It's the same thing, the first time I heard Rumors, there was something that Stevie Nicks did lyrically that I think no one does. And I think that people really don't give her the credit, like lyrically what she does and it's truly unbelievable to me. I think also, growing up, I really needed to listen to women who were, leads and also writing the lyrics and the power behind that. But also, I mean, oh my God, Susie's the Susie and the Banshees song Dazzle, like literally that song fucks me up. Every single time I'm at a party, I always make people like sit down and shut up. And then like, I just play the song and it's just like the greatest thing ever, even though everybody hates it. That's why I don't get into anything anymore. I mean, it really depends, but also I'm a huge Rachmaninoff fan.
Okay.
I love Tchaikovsky. I mean, Jimmy and I have a huge affinity for Beethoven, but also, we love, Bernard Herrmann, we love Ennio Morricone. There are a bunch of different influences that come at us. I mean, like even, it really just depends, but for the most part, there needs to be some sort of edge and there needs to be some sort of uncomfortable aspect to it, because to me, I think that's the most real thing.
Yeah, definitely. And would you say classical music influenced your song structures when you make the record?
Not classical music as much as maybe film scores. Like you said, Ennio Morricone is a huge influence on me as far as chord structures and things like that. Which, I hear people talk about, blues is so important to rock. I'm much more influenced by classical music as far as the chord structures and the way I hear things and going out of keys and things like that. We kind of go out of our way to be. We definitely fall more into classical mode as far as some of our writing goes by far. Beethoven for sure. But a lot of people, one of the first things people say when they listen to all of our songs is it's cinematic. Because it's very film scory sounding.
Well, it's funny you said that, because now that I think about the song Blue Hour, for some reason, this is gonna sound crazy, so forgive me. I think of Grand Theft Auto for some reason. Like to me, it would fit. I know it sounds cliche, but it sounds like it would fit on a Grand Theft Auto soundtrack, and I do not know why. But
I'll happily take the royalties from that.
Right.
But I don't know. Do you all see your music like eventually being in a video game like Grand Theft Auto or anything like that? Or
that's so. I mean, I never even thought about that. But I mean, I'm into. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I've never played Grand Theft Auto, but I mean, I don't know.
I don't recommend it for children.
I think probably just from like what I knew when I was like 11 years old and I walked in on my friend's brother playing it. I was like confused by like, you know, the like the women were just like in like, you know, bathing suits and then the dudes were just like, yeah, I don't know.
No, there's plenty of kids that were introduced to great rock music by Guitar Hero.
That's
it was a big source of revenue for bands.
The greatest South Park episode of all time.
Yeah. You know, so no, would we be against it? No, anything that introduces the right people to it. You know, if it's
I agree.
It depends. I guess there's some video games that might be like, if it's like the Smurfs video game or something like that, it might be I thought I could be into it. Guitar Hero, of course, something like that. You know,
Guitar Hero,
because it's so hard now to get traction and to find new ways to get to people now. So you have to be open to all these things.
Yeah, definitely. So what are some strategies that you are going to employ to get your music out there? Because obviously with the pandemic and everything like that, touring's kind of non-existent. I mean, it might happen later on this year as people get vaccinated, but naturally bands have to take a different avenue now. So what avenues are you looking at or approaching in terms of this?
I'll talk to you first.
Well, thank you. I'm honored.
No, you're right. It's a weird thing now, but we're hoping we've kind of timed this a bit by the time because, you know, we were doing well playing around New York, you know, which is an important scene, and we were doing really well. And then it kind of all crashed around us when we had the most momentum. So we kind of had to rethink everything, but we're also now hoping, if things go according to plan, when we get to full release of the album, that we kind of can start playing again. And we're hoping that's the thing, because for what we do, the live show is important, but you know, we've also spent a lot of time doing a couple like good looking videos right now, because it's all you can do right now, really. You know?
Yeah. And I think also, you know, really the album and our music, it really is like a soundtrack to like being alone in your bedroom type of thing. So it's kind of like in the back of my mind, I'm just hoping that really that this time during the pandemic, it's actually really the perfect backdrop for what we do.
Definitely. And what
nuts.
What was that?
Also, our live shows are nuts. I mean, there's nothing better than playing live. For us, that's everything.
Definitely. And what is the craziest thing you all have done live?
One time I pushed David Johansen.
Which one is David in the band?
No. From New York Dolls.
From New York Dolls.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So literally,
I need to brush up on my New York Dolls history, apparently.
It's okay, dude. It's all good. No.
Don't
tell him I said that, by the way.
No, so he was at our gig, and basically, I mean, I love to go through the crowd and like push people and stuff, and kind of just, I like to writhe, and you know, I really like to just, you know, like be a part of it. I wanted to be wild and a spectacle, and I think, you know, make people uncomfortable. And so it was during our song My Familiar, I'm sure, which is the last song that we play at our sets normally. And I remember I just like pushed this dude, and I looked up and it was David Johansen. I was like, oh, sorry, man. And then I just kind of bowed randomly. That was horrible.
And how did David react?
He was fine, dude. He's seen so much worse.
I'm sure he has.
Yeah, then some girl, you know, with like, you know, like in all black, you know, pushing him, you know, like. Fine. No, I mean, what else?
On the play an entire show sober. I think that's the craziest thing I've ever.
Yeah, that's true. I've definitely fallen off the stage before, but I got right back on. I mean, you know, like I'll like come running up on the stage, grab the mic stand, like whack it, and then I think I hit someone in the face once. I don't know. I definitely want to try to do like backflips like HR though. Like that's the goal.
Definitely. It sounds like very much a New York garage rock punk vibe to it, you know? So like, tell me the moment when you all realized I want to play music and do this for the rest of my life.
Oh my God. A sense like, I don't know. I don't
you were in the womb probably.
No, I mean, I don't want to say that, but kind of like I remember. I mean, you probably realize by now I have a stutter, and I remembered as like a young child. Actually, it's gotten worse with age, unfortunately. But when I was a kid, like very, very young, I obviously hated it. I felt like I couldn't communicate, and it ostracized me even more. And I remember that, you know, when I was able to sing, that it went away. And it really made me feel like I could do anything, that was the way that I could speak to people and they could hear me.
Well, yeah, the thing is, you're going to be an inspiration to people who have that issue, you know, like, you know, it's one of those things where I'm trying to word this, like, where people are affected from a mental health standpoint with those that have a stuttering issue. So you're going to be an inspiration to those people. So
I really would hope so. I mean, truly, thank you for saying that. It has affected every aspect of my life. Some people think that I'm nervous around them. Some people think that I'm insulting them. I've had issues like, you know, when I've, you know, worked at like vintage stores and stuff like that, with colleagues, like not wanting to speak to me at all, with teachers not wanting to call on me, and vice versa. I didn't want to raise my hand either, but it's you know, it's not something that's super easy, and especially because, you know, I have all these things in my head. It's all about all of my thoughts just like whirring at once, and I've written everything down and I've thought this through, and I just want everybody to know about it. That it's like, it's quite difficult, but really music, you know, it's not just singing, but also just music in general. It taught me how to feel, period.
Absolutely. So like, what are some music that you have, I know we've talked about Radiohead and Morrissey and stuff, and naturally we're going to get into the Civil War very soon. What's the last thing that you've listened to, basically?
Let's see. Last night I drank too much. I was listening to the B-52s.
Oh, that is so cool.
What else is, I know, yeah, all vinyl. I was listening to a lot of Pretenders. What else?
That's another influence I get from you.
Oh,
the Pretenders.
Thank you.
Love her.
Mm-hmm.
Love. What else was I listening to last night? Oh my God. I think I like, you know, like at one point started playing Neon Bible by Arcade Fire. Like,
oh, that's a brilliant record, isn't it?
Love that record so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Are they still around, Arcade Fire?
No, I think they were canceled. Truly,
like
no.
Literally canceled. Like,
no.
Did they do something bad or something?
No,
they made a shit record.
Oh, fair. Okay, I wasn't sure if they pulled like a flaw or something like that and got.
Oh no! I'm kidding. Okay. No, like truly, like I remember the first time I listened to Arcade Fire. Like I love them. I love their early work. I think The Suburbs is one of the greatest records ever written ever, and I know Jimmy agrees. I think that just like the latest record, when they were talking about little girls looking in the mirror and someone listening to their first record when they killed themselves, it seemed like they really didn't understand how much they affect people, especially people with mental health issues. And the way that they said it was almost like, I took it as they were bragging, which is really sad because I feel like they really do understand the disaffected. They were the ones that helped me feel like someone understood me. So I think that it really, I felt like they hurt my feelings when they wrote the script. I took it so personally, but that's what it is. Musicians, you know, the way they connect with their audience, it's like, you know, your best friend, that other half of your mind.
Yeah. And that's kind of part of what I'm writing about in my book, is like how it's based upon like the stories that like fans would give to their musicians when they do like meet and greets and stuff. Like, this song changed me, or music's changed my life and stuff like that. But musicians get saved all the time by music and stuff. So that's kind of what I want to bring to the forefront, that basically musicians are just like you and me. They put our pants on one leg at a time, and or something like that. And so Jimmy, tell me about what was the last thing you listened to?
I think because of the Grammys, I went back into Billie Eilish, who I'm amazed. She's so incredible. Yeah. It gives me hope that there's someone that young that's doing something so interesting. Yeah. You know, because she apologized for winning Record of the Year, And the song is so good and so much better than the other song, the Megan Thee Stallion, where she was apologizing for winning over. That kind of bothered me actually, because I think she's really that talented. And it's just so good to see like someone coming out that actually has like real artistry and a real edge. And obviously everything we're talking about, I guarantee you she could talk about in depth and have a lot to say about it. It makes me happy. So that's, as far as like new stuff, that's probably the happiest thing I can find right now. That's new and coming out.
Yeah, definitely. And I was gonna say, let's get into the Blue Hour single. I love the music video. First of all, I got to ask in the music video. I love classic cars, but I cannot figure out what kind of car that was. What car was that?
Let me tell you something about that car. That car was our worst nightmare.
It's
oh really?
Oh my God, you have no idea.
I would, if I had the money, I would have bought it for me for like a charity auction or something.
It broke down 4 times during shooting.
It was a 67 Chevy Impala, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I figure it was an Impala, but I couldn't remember what year.
Right?
Maybe it was a Malibu. No, I think it was an Impala.
No, I don't think so. I think it was a Malibu.
I don't even know. Either way, but the guy who owned it, that we rented it from, he had some work done on it. he lowered it in the cooler, so if you turned the wheel more than like 20 degrees, the tires rubbed. The gas gauge.
That's not good.
The gas gauge didn't work. The gear, telling you what gear you're in, didn't work. There was no heat. There were no seat belts.
Right.
I get in this car and I'm like, "Where are the seat belts?" Like, "Oh, they're on, and you'll be fine."
Come on, Jimmy, stop being such a square, dude. I'm just kidding. Put on your seatbelt.
We had to drive it down to Atlantic City, where we were going to be shooting most of the video. We got about an hour outside the city, took some shots, and the thing just started dying over and over. It never even made it to Atlantic City. We had to fake a lot of the shots.
Yeah, no, I mean, like even.
See, I thought you guys actually went on like some type of adventure and stuff.
No, I mean,
adventure is one way to look at it.
Right.
Okay, fair enough.
In that part in the dark where I'm smoking a cigarette outside of the car was broken down.
Waiting for a tow truck.
We're literally waiting for a tow truck, and we were like, okay, well, we might as well shoot. And so that's what that was.
Yeah, the car was supposed to go back to the Bronx. At the end of the day, we just abandoned it in New Jersey.
We did.
But we made the most of it, and then the director was genius, Hector Perez. Like he kind of made
amazing.
it all look like it was planned, and there was a lot of audibles called on involving the car.
But I will say, like, leaning out of that window, there is something really, I think everyone should do that. That was so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking car. The way it looked.
Yeah, I was going to say on the exterior it looked good.
Yeah.
We should have just gotten out and pushed it for a while.
Yeah, so leaning out the window, that felt good. What was the liberating feeling like when you were doing that in the video?
Oh my God. I mean, but it's also, it's so important that it was at that moment at the song. And that was what Jimmy said from the beginning, that's what he wanted. That was the feeling that we needed, was like hanging your head out the car window. I mean, that's something that everybody does. That's a place where everybody listens to music I mean, maybe
outside the window?
Outside the window, yes.
Okay.
En voiture. No, okay. That's like in the car, right? I mean, obviously for us, I mean, I don't have a car, I live in Brooklyn, but there's just something so freeing about it. I felt like I was like, I didn't care about anything. I wasn't worried about myself. I didn't think twice about, maybe I would say something wrong or that I was like alone or anything like that. It helped me in like forgetting, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And take us into the writing process of the song. Do you all like during the pandemic and stuff, were you all like in the same room, or did you like just exchange files, do it virtually? How did that work?
We have our own studio, luckily, so we've always been able to work together, because I'm also a producer and engineer, so
okay.
we have a studio to work out of. This song particularly, this is a many years project. This song, the music goes back a long, long time. I had the basic chord structure when we first met, and she loved it. She kind of came up with ideas right away for it, but orchestrating it and producing it, it's about a 3-year process. I reproduced it probably 3 or 4 times, changed tempos, I read about like what U2 does to producers, like rewriting songs in 4 different studios over 5 years and making people want to go crazy. This was that version of that. Like we spent a lot of time. That's kind of the way we write. We kind of tweak until we get it right. And sometimes that's one day, and sometimes it's 3 years. This was a 3-year one.
The lyrics, I really just, I was so inspired by what you had written. It was the first song that we ever wrote. So I just like was writing like crazy right away. And at that point, I was reading Dostoevsky and like a lot of Sartre as well. So you can kind of hear that like a tiny bit. I think probably Dostoevsky mostly just because I say the word scoundrels. That's in a lot of the new right, which is kind of a weird word, but it's in all of the new translations. So I was just like in my
head. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so oh my God, it's just everywhere. I think at that time I was reading Brothers Karamazov. But even though we had written it years prior, Blue Hour is really meant to reflect what goes on in the pandemic. It's all about waiting. It's all about waiting for something, like literally anything to make you feel better than whatever it is that this state of mind. And the Blue Hour is literally like it happens at like 5 a.m. or depending on the time of year, but it's basically you stay up all night, probably surrounded by people that you don't really know that well, talking about things that no one's going to remember, making plans that no one will ever do. And then, that entire time, all you want to do is be alone. All I want to do is be alone with my thoughts, but still want to be understood. And then finally, maybe they're all at your house, maybe they all leave. And then all of a sudden, you're alone and you just feel like, what was the point? What was I waiting for? No one is going to help me, that I have to help myself.
Right. Absolutely. And I was going to say, like, in terms of the pandemic, it's hard to believe that as of the other day was like the 1 year anniversary of COVID.
No.
And what is the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself?
I like eating at home.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that I carry a lot of guilt with me, and I think like through the pandemic, like obviously it wasn't my fault, but I just felt like I was it was kind of a reflection of like how I was feeling, and I felt like I had to apologize for everything, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I think that during this time as well, like especially in the beginning, right? I remember like no one was working, especially in New York, and I wanted to call some of my friends just to see how they were doing, and I like a lot of them were like busy.
What were they busy with? Like
exactly.
There's like
I think in general, a lot of people, your circle of friends kind of tightened up.
Yes,
you really kind of
for
got
sure.
to see who you really wanted to go out of your way and see,
Yes.
or risk your life to hang out with. So it kind of had a lot of influence on everyone's friends, I think, and I think that goes across the board for everybody.
Yeah,
sure. I feel like the pandemic has kind of tore the veil, so to speak, a combination with the social and civil unrest.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I was gonna say, like, is New York still pretty shut down, or has live music returned? Or I know it's not like Texas and Florida where everything's open, but
right. No, everyone's wearing masks, like. Thankfully,
on the street it feels kind of normal, but there's still no live music yet. But they're already starting to book things, so we're expecting, May, June, half capacity shows should be starting back up.
Yeah.
Anything outdoor, they're trying to get going right away. Bars and restaurants are at 50% right now, but New York kind of after the initial onslaught did pretty well because everyone took the science seriously and wore masks and whatnot. We never got the second surge we thought we were going to get that was going to shut us back down.
Right.
Luckily.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, I should get a bus load of New Yorkers and send them out to the Midwest and tell people you need to mask up.
Yeah.
Because I live in Iowa, and there's times where you wouldn't even know a pandemic existed. Because Iowa's like Texas and Florida, where they opened everything up, and it's kind of scary, especially for myself who's an asthmatic, and
oh my God, I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing about asthmatics is, as soon as you find out somebody else is asthmatic, you can have like hour-long conversations about the type of medicines that we take and how we treat it.
Sure. Like we should like high five with our inhalers and I mean, right. Like I'm also like super allergic to like so many things too. I used to sit.
Oh, me too.
Are you? I knew it. Yes. Yeah. I used to sit at the peanut free table in lower school. I was like total social suicide, man. I'll tell you that. Like that was awful.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not allergic to peanuts, but like I feel like pretty much everything else on the planet Earth I am allergic to.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. Maybe Mars will open up a colony or whatever, and I can live up on Mars. That way. Just need somebody to throw me $30 million so I can do that. But,
I would say a show on Mars for sure.
Oh, definitely. And you guys are coming out with Come Evening in May 14th.
Yes.
Yep.
And what do you have planned in terms of the album release, and what can fans expect like from the album?
I mean, I think that really the album for me is, I don't know, like genuinely, I feel so vulnerable even talking about it and so terrified, but I'm so ready for it to come out. And I really think that, I really hope that people, I just hope that there's like a common understanding. And that's really what I would love in terms of like, I mean, we have 2 more singles coming out. We have 1 single, Barcelona, coming out on March 31st, and another single, Slender Slander, is coming out, and then the album release.
But it definitely is an album. I mean, that's
for sure.
What I think people take from
oh my God, it's a double album.
Is that it's a concept
in length, literally.
But it's got a beginning, middle, and an end to it.
Yeah.
So I want people to take it in as that. I think that's important. Like, there's a lot of albums coming out now that aren't that anymore. It's just kind of throw a couple singles together.
Yeah.
But this is a concept. It's got a definitive beginning, middle, and end that you have to kind of go through it and to really fully appreciate us even as a band.
Yeah. So I would really, I mean, honestly, I would really push people to listen to it from beginning to end.
Yeah, because we fly around influences sometimes. Sometimes out of nowhere there'll be some Pink Floyd in there. We go from like we said, like a Morrissey or a Smiths or something, and then some.
Yeah, but then there's like the Rapture.
Or there's some or then Blondie, then Zeppelin, and like it's kind of all over the place. But it only makes sense as a cohesive unit altogether.
So you guys brought up that it was a concept album. What story are you trying to bring out of the record? Is there like a particular like storyboard that you guys worked on, or how did that work?
I mean, so originally we wanted to write about New York City in one night, but then it kind of took on a mind of its own. But it still kind of just speaks more to. Come Evening is based off of a 4-line poem that I wrote soon after I met Jimmy. So it's these chains have thickened with beast-like suppression. Come evening of this flesh, I take leave. And basically that means at night. Yeah.
That's really good.
Oh, thanks, dude, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. So basically what you can imagine, it's like as soon as it becomes nighttime, you are just completely letting go of all of your inhibitions. You are allowing yourself to be yourself and kind of be seen and unseen and make the decisions that you wouldn't necessarily make during the day, and just allowing yourself that opportunity to be free, but also to take responsibility for your actions and to be aware of yourself.
Okay, so it's a combination of like self-awareness and everything like that. So
yeah, but also, I mean, like it's also super important to be like wild and carefree.
Definitely. Would you both consider yourself free spirits then?
It's an understatement. Oh, wait, you don't have a charger?
What?
You don't have a charger? It's going to die.
Oh, no.
Hold on. We're having battery issues. Hold on one second.
Oh, not a problem.
Oh, no, I don't have it.
All right.
Oh, no.
Hold on. Let me see what we have left here. Hold on.
Yeah,
and do I have a charger for this? Wait, she might have one out there, maybe?
Yeah, we'll let you know. We'll do a countdown. Yes, he's leaving. I'm just kidding.
So do you both like live together or like?
No. No, we're buddies.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Besties, huh?
I mean, look, he's my mentor. Like the kind of things that he's worked on. He's a genius. I'm talking about someone else. Clearly. He's back. Yeah. I mean, we really.
So 5% left, no charger.
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, I'm gonna give you guys the floor to say whatever you want to say and everything like that, where we can find you and all that. So.
Sure. What? Why do you always
You're the social media person.
Okay, so definitely we're most active on Instagram. Definitely come by, especially for our stories. I mean, I don't know, like definitely take a listen to us on Spotify, and for sure, we in our videos as well. Really, we put so much heart into it, and like I said, it's like a really terrifying process, but we do feel as though it's really worth it. And
next single is Barcelona.
Yeah, our next single is Barcelona, coming out on March 31st. This one is my favorite song lyrically. I mean, so I'm so fucking excited for it to come out. This song in particular is so amazing. We shot it at a church in Greenpoint, and I can't even believe they like let us in. Like, that was so crazy. We didn't like burst into flames or anything. That was sick. Really, so we really hope everyone to get excited for our next video and our single on March 31st.
Awesome. And I know the listeners for Madness Creation Podcast are definitely looking forward to it. And I want to thank Alexandra and Jimmy so much for taking the time to listen to the Madness Creation Podcast and follow the Silk War and all their socials, and look out for the album come evening on May 14th. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, Maddie.
Yeah, see you later. What was that, Jimmy?
Good luck with the book.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Hopefully we can do that again.
Please, that would be awesome. For the longest interview ever.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, Maddie. Thanks.
See you later.